Have you ever been in an uncomfortable situation where you just got to get out of there? It could be a conversation, it could be a circumstance where you just really, man, you're uncomfortable because you feel like you're a little too vulnerable. You're going to get exposed. Maybe people are going to think things about you. Maybe that might be true, but you kind of want to avoid that at all costs because you're really just not ready to confront it. This is the Warrior Podcast, episode 190. And let's talk about, are you running away? Now, this comes from the verse in Proverbs, uh, chapter 28, verse 1. And it says, "The wicked flee when no one chases them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." Now, on the surface, this could be like morals. It could say like morality, uh, sin, righteousness versus wickedness. And I get that. That's directly in the title of the verse, or it's in the words of the verse. But I think this concept of wanting to flee, wanting to get away from a situation goes much beyond wickedness and righteousness. I think it can be applied to a lot of things. And we ask ourselves, what are you running from? It's kind of like in Shakespeare when it says, "Me doth think thou protestest too much." It's like, man, you kind of made a much bigger deal out of this than is necessary. And what's the point of what I'm talking about here is because I think it becomes a litmus test to know that we have some sort of shame or some sort of um, thing that we want to avoid. I see it in all kind of different circumstances and scenarios where somebody doesn't want to be exposed, right? So what they do is they pretend like it's something else to get away from it. And so we got to ask ourselves, if we're fleeing versus staying, are we fleeing because we're scared or we're insecure about a situation and don't want to be exposed or something to be revealed, whether it's our opinion on something or whatever? And if we do stay, are we righteous like the lion? And if you think about even the analogy of that verse or the picture it's painting, is that a lion is so confident in who he is and what he's about, he definitely don't run from anything. They run towards things, stay put. Things run from the lion. The lion doesn't really run away from too many things. And so the wicked have a tendency, the guilty, those that are under some kind of condemnation, they have this constant looking at shadows. They're always real kind of sketchy, real insecure and always ready to flee like a scared little rabbit about everything. And they show that in how they run. It's not necessarily a moving, like, you don't necessarily go from point A to point B. You could be moving in conversation, changing the subject. Let's change the subject real quick. Where, the righteous will stay in a subject for as long as is necessary to accomplish the task, because that's what the lion does. So all I want to do today is challenge you to start looking at verses, especially in Proverbs, with a much broader perspective, because they're the book and verses of wisdom. And wisdom has a broad application. They're concepts, they're principles. And so back to Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no one chases them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Be as bold as a lion because you stand in righteousness. You stand on what's right. And if you don't stand on what's right, you have a tendency to run even when you're not being challenged. All right, guys, you're a warrior designed for God's glory, and He is the King of righteousness. So walk, stand, be a lion in Him. All right, as always, if you like the content, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll continue to put it out. God be with you. Stay in the fight.